So in this lecture we are going to talk about even and odd permutations. Even and odd permutations. Okay. So what are even and odd permutations? So suppose you have a permutation which is given as 1 2 3 up till n, and a1 a2 up till an, which is given by p. If this permutation can be expressed as a product of transpositions, okay, if this permutation can be expressed as a product of transpositions, then the number of transpositions whose product actually depicts this permutation refers to the fact whether it is even or odd. Suppose this uh, permutation can be expressed as a product of say n number of transpositions, okay, n number of transpositions, then if n is even, then p becomes an even permutation, and if n is odd, then p becomes an odd permutation. For example, let's say we have this permutation 1 2 3 4 5 6. This is say 1 5, 5 is replaced by 1, and say 2 is replaced by 3, 3 by 4, 4 by 6, okay, 4 by 6 and 6 by 2. So we can write this as 1 5 and 2 3 4 6, right? 2 changes to 3, 3 changes to 4, 4 changes to 6, 6 changes to 2. So now this can be further written as 2 5 1 5 2 3 2 4 2 6. So what are the number of transpositions here? The number of transpositions here is 1 2 3 and 4. So 4 transpositions, therefore the even number of transpositions. So this permutation is actually an even permutation. Okay, this permutation actually is an even permutation. Now suppose we would have had the same example, just we change it a little bit. We say that suppose what can we do here? Let's say this 4 does not change, 3 changes to 6. Okay, so what is the new product of transpositions will be? So 1 5, 1 transpositions, 2 3 6, right? 2 changes to 3, 3 changes to 6, 6 changes to 2. This can be written as 1 5 2 3 and 2 6. So 1 2 3. So number of transpositions becomes odd, therefore the permutation is now an odd permutation. Okay, so this is the fact about even and odd permutation. Now there comes the sign convention of even and odd permutation. Sign convention of even and odd permutation. Now even permutations are given a positive sign and odd permutations are given a negative sign. Okay, even permutations given an odd sign, given a positive sign, and odd permutations are given a negative sign. Now what is the reason behind that? Let's first understand that behind the sign convention. See, we know algebraically any positive value times a positive value is a positive value, any negative value times a negative value is a positive value, and any positive value times a negative value is a negative value, and vice versa. It can be negative times positive also. We are just going into a single fact. So positive times positive is positive, negative times negative is positive, and positive times negative is negative. Now this fact can be kind of correlated with the fact regarding odd and even permutations. What we have is that even permutation times an even permutation is an even permutation. Odd permutation times an odd permutation is an even permutation. An even permutation times an odd permutation or the reverse is an odd permutation. Now see, this can be correlated. So plus times plus is plus, minus times minus is plus, plus times minus is minus. Got? That is why the sign convention is set like this. Okay. So there is one more fact about even and odd permutations. Now let's see that. So the other fact says that if there are n factorial permutations of n symbols, n factorial permutations of n symbols, then the number of even and the number of odd permutations are each n factorial 2 in number. Okay, so we know that if there are n symbols in a particular set, then the total number of permutations of those numbers will be n factorial total number will be n factorial. Okay, so the number of even and the number of odd permutations each will be n factorial over 2, that is they will be equal in number. Okay, so this was about even and odd permutations. Now next we move to order. Okay, order of an element. Order of an element. So this is pretty easy to understand what is order of an element. See, if we can have the least positive integer, if we can have the least positive integer, let me write it down, least positive integer such that a to the power n, suppose least positive integer n, okay, least positive integer n such that a to the power n is equals to e, where a and e both belong to the set G star, where star is your multiplicative property, multiplicative operation, and e is the identity element. E is the identity element. Okay, then the order of A will be n. Then the order of A will be n. So for a multiplicative group, a to the power n is equals to e, where e is the identity element and a is an element of the group itself. So n is known as the order of an element. Similarly, if you have a additive group, say G plus, if you have an additive group, then what happens? Then if you have a least positive integer n such that n times a is equals to e, where e is the identity element and a is a element of the group itself, then n is the order of the element. Okay, so it depends upon the binary operation upon which the group is made or the group is formed. Okay, getting my point? For a multiplicative group you have a to the power n, for an additive group you have n times a, or a added n times. So got it? Similarly, suppose you have a group like this. Okay, this is a group and it has its binary operation, say multiplication. Okay, this is a group and this has its binary operation, say multiplication. So from here we can see that 1 times, so now see, as it is a multiplicative group, so we can say that its identity is 1. Okay, this is pretty clear. So 1 times 1 is 1, so order of 1 is 1. Minus 1 times 2 is 1, so order of minus 1 is 2. I times 4 is 1, so order of I is 4. Right? Similarly, order of minus I will also be 4. So these are the order of the elements. Right? Got this particular point, guys? Now suppose you have multiplicative group. You have a multiplicative group where you have an element 2. Okay, 2 belongs to a multiplicative group G star, but you cannot have any least positive integer n such that 2 to the power n is equals to 1. Therefore order of 2 is said to be 0 or infinite. You can use both terms. Okay, got it? So next we move on to the properties of the order of a group. Properties. So properties, what are the properties of the group, order of an element? So the first one is that order of every element of a finite group is finite. Okay, if group is cyclic, okay, order of every element of a finite group is finite if group is cyclic. What do I mean by this statement? So cyclic group is a group, let me also tell this thing. A cyclic group is a group where all the elements are made up of or are formed on the basis of a single element. Suppose you have a group like this, a to the power minus 3, a to the power minus 2, a to the power minus 1, 1, a square, a cube, and so on. So see, every element is formed of a which belongs to the set itself, so to the group itself, right? So this sort of a group is known as a cyclic group, and this element on the basis of which the other elements are formed of the group, this element is called the generator of the group. Okay, so suppose we have a cyclic group like this where all the elements are of the form a to the power k. Okay, now if this group is a finite group, okay, if this group is a finite group, then we cannot say that all the powers of ak are different from each other, because there can be an infinite powers of ak which are different from each other. So we need to consider the fact that there is some element which is a to the power s. We are talking about a multiplicative group, right? We are just giving an example using the multiplicative group. So there is some element a to the power s which equals another element a to the power r. There can be many s such that a to the power s is equals to a to the power r. Getting my point? There are an infinite powers of a such that each of them differs with the other. But since we are considering it to be a finite group, so we cannot assume that all the elements differ from each other or all the powers of a differ from each other rather. So we need to consider the fact that there are certain powers of a, that is there are certain elements which are equal to each other, so that we can omit the infinite condition. Now, so if this is the case, then we can say that a to the power s minus r is equals to 1. That now since this is a multiplicative group, so 1 is your identity. So we can say that a to the power t equals to 1, where t is greater than 0 and t is equals to s minus r. So this basically means that s is greater than r. Okay, so this is a general fact. Without any loss of generality, we can say that s is greater than r. So we have got some t, such that a to the power t is equals to 1. Now just consider the fact that if there exists some t such that a to the power t is equals to the identity element, then we can say that there must exist some p which belongs to the same set, the set where t belongs. Now see, t being an integer, it belongs to some set, right? T being some integer, it belongs to the set, and that set will always have, if finite, a least element, and the properties of t as well as the least element of the set are going to be same. Therefore, if t satisfies this condition, p must also satisfy this condition, p being the least element of the set. Therefore, there exists some least element such that a to the power p is equals to identity element. Hence, we can say that it has a finite order. Getting my point? Therefore, we can say that o to the power a is equals to p, and we can say that it is having a finite order. Got my point? So let us understand the next topic. The next topic says that the order of any power of a, a belonging to the group G star multiplicative group, cannot be greater than that of a. So this is also pretty understanding. Suppose you have a to the power k equals to e, and you have a to the power m times s is equals to e. So from here what you can say, a to the power ms is equals to e. So you can relate them to say that k equals to ms. Now if k equals to ms, then both m and s must be less than equals to k. If m is k and s is 1, then they are equal, and if s is k and m is 1, then they are equal, right? Getting my point? M can be equal to k if s is 1, and s can be equal to k if m is 1. If this condition does not satisfy, then if this condition does not satisfy, then what happens? They will be strictly less than k. So that is the fact of this point. Okay. The next point says that the order of an element of a group is the same as that of its inverse. The order of an element of a group is the same as that of its inverse. Okay. So how can we understand this basic property? Let's just see first. Suppose you have a least positive integer n such that a to the power n is equals to e, where e is the identity element. Getting my point? Now you can write this thing as a to the power minus 1 times minus n is equals to e. So there exists some minus n, which is also an integer. If n is an integer, then minus n will also be an integer, right? So the order of a to the power minus 1 is basically becoming minus n. Getting it? Is basically becoming minus n. So what we need to show here is that minus n, it can be equivalent to n when we are finding the order. Okay. So how can we do that? Let's see. So suppose we have a to the power n is equals to e. That implies to a to the power n times a to the power minus n equals to e times a to the power minus n. Okay, we can do this using we are using a multiplicative group, right? So we can directly use this. So from here we can now see this is what? This is a times n times a to the a inverse times n. So this is your a times a inverse whole to the power n, right? Or we don't need to get into the fact like this. See, a to the power minus n is the inverse of a to the power n, right? A to the power minus n is the inverse of a to the power n. So inverse times the element gives you e, that is the identity element, and identity element times any element of that particular group gives you the element itself. So this is a to the power n. So that implies to we can say that a to the power minus 1 whole to the power n is equals to e, and order of a to the power minus 1 equals to n, which was also the order of a. So that is done with we are done with the problem. Getting it? Okay. So the next point. The next point says that there are a number of properties of this order, and you need to just go through these. So next we have that the order of a and x times a times x inverse are same, where x and a both belong to the group G star. Okay. So how is this true? Let's see. See, basically what happens is that I'm just giving you a general idea. I'm not proving it. I'm just telling you how is it true. So if you have this x inverse times a times x whole to the power n, okay, so this can be written as x minus 1 times a times x minus 1 times a times x, and up till some x minus 1 times a times x, and this product is going n times. So if you expand this product, you will basically get this in the form x minus 1, okay, x minus 1 times a to the power n, okay, x minus 1 times a to the power n times x inverse whole to the power n minus 1, x times x inverse whole to the power n minus 1 times here you will be getting x. Okay. Now see, this can be replaced with x minus 1 times a to the power n times x to the power n minus 1 times x to the power minus n minus 1 times x. Now x to the power minus n minus 1 is the inverse of x to the power n minus 1, so this can give you e. So x to the power minus 1 times a to the power n times e times x, right? Now e times x is x itself. So okay, let us not write it in that way. Let's do this, that a to the power n times e is e. Sorry, a to the power n times e is. Am I missing some fact, right? Am I missing some fact? I don't think so. Am I missing some fact? Okay, let me just understand this particular thing. So this gives you x, right? This gives you okay. Yes, I am missing some fact. I have not mentioned the fact that a to the power n is e, because we have considered the order of a to be e. Okay, I have not mentioned this fact earlier. So from here we can say the x inverse times e times x, this equals, so this equals x inverse times x, that is equals to e. So basically x inverse times a times x whole to the power n equals e, when a to the power n equals e. So from here we can say that order of x inverse times a times x is equals to order of a. So we come to the next property. So what is the next property? So the next property says that, so there we have a corollary property of this also. The corollary property says that order of AB is equals to order of BA. That is the commutative property of the finding the order of an element. Okay, so the next property we have that if the element A of a group G B of order n, if the element of a group G B of order n, then a to the power m equals to e if m is some multiple of nq. M is some multiple of n. What do I mean by this statement? So this is the property which we have already used in the first property, where we showed that nothing but if a to the power m equals to e and some other, so a is a itself here, and if some other power of a to the power n is equals to e, then we can say that m equals to nq, which this is what we used. So they have done the same thing only, that if there are two different powers of a which equals c, then one power will be an integral multiple of the other power. Got this? Okay, so this was all about today's lecture, completing order of the group. In the next lecture we will be starting with subgroups and alternating subgroups and moving on to cyclic groups and order of a group. Okay, so meet you guys in the next lecture.